In this video, we're going to use ratios to solve another application problem. So let's read the question and highlight the important information. Amy and Jennifer were counting up their candy after trick-or-treating. Amy's favorite is Smarties candies and Jen's favorite is Gobstoppers. I'm going to highlight that even though it doesn't have numbers. They decide to make a trade. Amy says she will give Jen 4 Gobstopper candies for every 7 Smartie candies Jen gives her. Jen agrees. Write the following ratios in fraction form and include units in your fractions. So we want to write the ratio of the trade of Smarties to Gobstoppers. Well, it's 7 Smarties for every 4 Gobstoppers. So, again, labeling is going to be useful later. 7 Smarties for every 4 Gobstoppers. And now the ratio of the trade of Gobstoppers to Smarties, well, that's reversing this order. And let's make an abbreviation. We'll call them 4 Gobs for every 7 Smarts. Okay? And notice again that these are reciprocals of each other. So let's look at the next question. Now we're asked, suppose Amy has 20 Gobstoppers. And here's our question. How many Smarties would Jen have to give Amy in trade? Use this information in the double number lines below to represent this scenario and find the result. So notice I put our ratios from the last slide right here. And notice we have the number of Gobstoppers, which is 20. And we want to see how many Smarties does this correspond to. Okay. Well, notice the ratio of Smarties to Gobstoppers is 7 Smarties for 4 Gobstoppers. So we want to break the number of Gobstoppers into groups of 4. So I'm going to divide 20, let's use a pen for that. I'm going to divide 20 into groups of 4, and I get 5 groups of 4. So I need to break this into 5 pieces, equal pieces, 1, 2, 3, so I make 4 tick marks, okay, and each one of them is going to correspond to adding on 4 more Gobstoppers. So we have 4 Gobstoppers, 8, 12, 16, and 20. Okay. So now what is this going to be in terms of the number of Smarties? Well, let's start with our ratios. We know that 4 Gobstoppers corresponds to 7 Smarties. So I'm going to put 4, where there's 4 Gobstoppers, I'm going to correspond that with 7 Smarties. Okay, I'm going to break this into the same number. 8 Gobstoppers would be 2 times 7 Smarties, or 7 more. And here we'll keep adding 7s until we get to the end, which is 35. Okay, so notice on this number line, for every 4 Gobstoppers, there's 7 Smarties. Here, this is 2 times 4 Gobstoppers, this is 2 times 7 Smarties, and that pattern continues. If we look at it the other way, we see the other ratio. For every 7 Smarties, there's 4 Gobstoppers. For 2 times 7 Smarties, there's 2 times 4 Gobstoppers. And 20 corresponds to 35. Okay. So now let's see how we can represent this symbolically. So remember, the amount we're starting with is 20 Gobstoppers. So let's write this as 20, and again I'm using the units. Get a fraction ready because I'm going to write the correct corresponding ratio. Now remember what we did here. We partitioned the number of Gobstoppers into groups of 4. Okay, so we divided by 4, and then we took each of those values of 4 and multiplied them by 7. So we cut into 4 pieces and then multiplied each of those by 7. Now notice this corresponds to 7 Smarties over 5 Gobstoppers. Okay. And if you use the idea of this unit analysis again, I'm just going to write this over 1. you can see that the gobstoppers, there's one on top, one on bottom, they'll cancel out, leaving us with Smarties, which was our ultimate goal. Okay, so that's another way to make sure that you're using the correct ratio. So multiplying across, now we have 20 times 7 over 4, and this is representing Smarties. Okay, I'm going to do this division and simplify. Okay, and notice there's our 5 times 7. We divided 20 by 4, we get 5. Then we multiply by 7 to get a total of 35 Smarties. Okay, and we just wrote this, but we'll write it again. The number of Smarties for 20 gobstoppers is 35 Smarties. Okay. Now let's write a corresponding proportional statement. And notice I said a corresponding. There's actually more than one, but we're going to write one that seems to apply most to this situation. So we use this fraction of ratio of 7 Smarties to 4 gobstoppers, which I'll just write as 4 gobs. And this corresponded to 35 Smarties over 20 gobstoppers. Okay, so the reason I said this isn't the only proportional statement, notice if we reciprocate both of these, the proportion will still be equal. But I wrote it in this way in particular, even though the other way wouldn't be wrong because we used this ratio for our conversion. So our proportional statement without the units is 7/4 equals 35 over 20. And notice in terms of equivalent fractions, if we multiply 7 by 5, we get 35. If we multiply 4 by 5, we get 20. And that's the same idea that we did here. We cut them into 5 pieces and then multiplied by the other number.